Hi everybody, Puffin here. Thanks for watching. So I finally heard the other lyrics to Terrapin Station. I finally heard the Robert Hunter version that has a bunch of other verses. And I never really knew that there was such a version, or I probably would have sought it out. But it was really amazing, and I don't know what all I can say about it, but I wanted to say something about it because it it uh, changed the way I felt about a lot of stuff at the time, and kind of it kind of opens up a different type of time, which is what Terrapin Station always seemed to be about. It always, like the lyrics that we've heard the Grateful Dead sing all the time, um, have always suggested this kind of time apart or a different type of time. The other lyrics really deepened that and interwove characters from other songs, other Grateful Dead songs, not necessarily that Robert Hunter wrote, but older songs that they kept alive, like old folk songs that maybe don't even have authors. They're so old, and that in itself gets to this like timelessness of stories of the world of story. But it's I guess one thing that there's a lot that happens in on the train. Um, there's a lot that happens after, as we hear from the Grateful Dead. They say, since the end was never told, we pay the teller off in gold in hopes he will come back, but he will not be bought or sold. And then it kind of goes into the instrumental part, well, it's Terrapin part, and kind of the instrumental takes the part of um, the what becomes all this extra storytelling in the Robert Hunter version. So I really would say um, I was stuck with a feeling after the song that I, in some ways, have tried to recapture. Maybe I have. I kind of felt like I should have made this video right after I heard it the first time, which was yesterday. But I felt like, well, maybe that feeling can't be conveyed, or if it could, I missed conveying it as fully as I could when it was fresh with me last night. But would just encourage you to listen to the song. Um, and gosh, what I have to say about it, just specifically, like I said, there's the train imagery. There's the whole idea of Terrapin as a place, not just Terrapin Station, but Terrapin, the whole place that has a station. But but it's all very mystical. So how much space there is kind of um, again, it seems to be like the internal space of story where these things interweave. And there's one part at the end where he says, if they ask you who wrote this song, say the Jack of Roses and all those who played along. And that reminds me of, as a writer and writing down songs, I consider myself more of a writer of books than the songs that I've sung for Fox, and songs that I've come up with myself that I might have sung for YouTube before Fox. And um, I feel like they were kind of given to me, or I followed a trail to trace out what those lyrics were, which I think of as a fairy trail. I feel like it's a collaboration with fairies. And I feel like that's kind of what he's saying by being the Jack of Roses himself, or adopting that character to tell the song, to sing the song about the character. And I know from Marty Robbins singing El Paso, um, which is a story about remembering someone from long ago, that he did feel like a reincarnated, um, that he felt what he described in the song, that the place brought back the memories of a past life. Um, that's kind of what it's like for writing any type of story. Not necessarily that the Jack of Roses or whatever character you're writing was a past life. It's kind of maybe like a waiting life, a life in that world of story that's waiting to be told. So, um, like I said, it really had an impact on me. I think the impact is kind of yet to be felt. I thought one of the main impacts, one of the main effects of the song, of hearing the other verses of Terrapin Station, or after wanting to hear the end of the story, since the end is never told, like, well, will the end ever be told? And this is a lot more like getting to the end of the story. Like, this is, the rest of the story that it was told. And, I was uh, waiting to hear it for decades, and I thought, but it still sounded familiar. I was like, have I heard this before? Have I heard part of this before? And maybe I had. I looked up to see the set list of the Robert Hunter show I got to see, which was 23 years ago, and the even the set list wasn't complete. It had unknown song a lot in there. I guess they don't have, or at least those people didn't have a recording of it, which is sad because I didn't remember it. I mean, I remember it somewhat, but like I said, I couldn't remember. Did he play Terrapin Station? Which he didn't. But could he have played sections of it? It just sounded familiar. But it sounded familiar in that kind of dreamlike way, where probably was the first time I heard it yesterday, but it had this familiarity of, like, I guess the history of the story behind it or something. Um, there's something dreamlike and mystical about it. It's probably better not to try to explain unless you have a clever way of saying it, which I don't right now. But it's that collaborative thing between the characters, between the writer and the characters, that I thought was interesting to highlight. But the only other things I'll mention about the song itself, besides interweaving those other old songs, is Venus is mentioned in Terrapin Station as the Grateful Dead sing it, the spiral light of Venus. And it's the Venus, the star, the morning star. But there's that implication of the goddess Venus, as always, with the morning star. And of course, that part is still in this Robert Hunter version, but there's also another verse where Venus rises on a terrapin and throws her coral fan. And that's, the more human form of Venus, and the one from the Botticelli painting, I think, but also the one that Lady Gaga invokes. So that really brings things full circle for me, with having such a spiritual connection through the Grateful Dead and with Lady Gaga, that it wove those things together. And then just the form of the song itself, after all this adventure and journey of the story, and he presents the fan, the Jack of Roses presents the lady with her fan, returns her fan, and says, I hope this will do as a token for what I meant to do. Oh, there's so much stuff in the song. But just to focus on that, on what I wanted to say about that one part, it's like these stages of Terrapin Station, the ones we've heard before, are like this approach, or like this. It's already a story. There's already these stages in the original song, the way we've heard it from the Grateful Dead. And then the verses that come in after that part, or kind of in the middle, because there's a little bit at the end of the Grateful Dead version that comes at the end of this song, of this version. But the verses that come in are like a whole nother environment in a way. It's another, it is more of that old-timey world, that, world of wagons or whatever, of candles and stuff. I don't know exactly how to describe it. You'll feel it when you hear the song. The Grateful Dead do that anyway. There's various songs of theirs, or jams of theirs, instrumentals of theirs that get into that kind of bard-like ancient times zone. But this is really firmly in that. And it's probably something to do with the tune or whatever. I shouldn't be analyzing it all this much, because it really is the feeling that you get from it. So listen to it. But that storyline part resolves in this section where the music changes, everything changes, to become just even more like the Terrapin is this elusive space-time type thing, this mystical realm, and all of it's kind of a journey around it, kind of like a labyrinth. And then that returning the fan and being able to say "I love you" is like the center of the lab, like the the full the heart of Terrapin Station, or the heart of Terrapin, the country, if that's what it is. And that part just musically really sounds like Syd Barrett. It sounds like some Syd Barrett songs, which just makes you think about Syd Barrett being kind of in and of that country. So, and of course, Robert Hunter too, um, bringing these songs back, and Robert Hunter doing this from like in this ancient tradition that seems like is really reaching through time as well. Whereas, again, comparing it to the way Syd Barrett songs are, that Syd Barrett songs are seem to be more in the moment, not through all this course of mythology and history and everything. But it's like a setting, like that history and mythology is a setting for this treasure moment. And man, it's just so great. So I hope you enjoy it as much as I did, or hope this encourages you to listen to it or re-listen to it, or start a conversation in comments if you like about things about Terrapin Station, because I could go on about it, but don't have the space on this, and nobody wants to hear too much rambling. But thanks for listening to it so far, and hope you enjoy as well. And rise, fall, climb to get to Terrapin. But there's another real key part in this version that doesn't come across in the original version, like "let me in, please let me in." And it seems that no matter how you get there, or how much struggle or what toils there are to get there, they're still wanting to be let in. And it makes me want to expand the country to let everyone in, to have it be an easier rise and climb and fall. But thanks, and hope y'all have a great day.